A Walgreens employee refused to sell a married woman a box of condoms, citing his religious beliefs in denying the sale. Now, Jessica Pentz and her husband Nate decided to vacation in Wisconsin for the 4th of July weekend. I guess that was mistake number one. But nonetheless, they're in Wisconsin. It's a married couple. She forgot to pack some condoms, okay? It's vacation time, a little loving. You don't want to get pregnant, totally get it. But she deals with this unsavory Walgreens employee. She'd forgotten her oral contraceptives back home in Minneapolis. So they pulled up to a drugstore in Hayward, and she headed inside to pick up a box of condoms and some other items. Oh, I can't sell those to you, she remembers the clerk named John telling her as she stepped up to the register with her purchases. So she was confused. She's like, oh, is the register broken? Like, what's going on? Confused, she gestured to the aisle where she picked up the box. Maybe John thought she'd carried in merchandise from another retailer into the Walgreens? That would have made more sense than his actual explanation. Quote, well, we can sell that to you, he clarified, but I will not because of my faith. I told him, that's none of your business. He said, well, I'm sorry, this is what my faith demands. And she responded, I think accurately, by saying, you're not sorry, she remembers telling him, as the line of customers backed up behind her. Now, eventually, a manager was called, and the manager, like, this blows my mind. The manager comes, the cashier, John, who's refusing to sell the box of condoms to a married woman, demands that he gets logged out of the register. So he's not in any way even digitally connected to the sale of the condoms. Manager does it, sells, is able to do the transaction. The woman is able to get the condoms. But it is outrageous because if you don't want to see blood, maybe don't be a surgeon. If you don't want to do if your faith is somehow getting in the way of you being able to do your job, then maybe you should consider another job. That goes for the pharmacists who moralize about birth control and refuse to dispense birth control to women who have a prescription for it. You don't want, if your faith makes your job impossible to do another job. Go be a priest somewhere. Go be a nun somewhere. Go do missionary work. I don't know, I don't even care. But if your job is to be a cashier at a Walgreens, you don't get to pick and choose what transactions you will carry out. This is a married woman who's just trying to buy a box of condoms, which, by the way, let's just address what condoms are used for. Yes, it is a preventative measure if you are trying to avoid unwanted pregnancies. That's definitely one of its uses. It's also used to stop the spread of diseases. So I don't know what John's religion is exactly, but he believes in a religion that's pro-disease. Step down, resign. This is not the job for you. What's even more infuriating, though, is that Walgreens decided to release a statement backing up their employee. Like, these companies never back up their employees, ever, ever. They'll throw their employees under the bus for anything. They don't want to pay their employees a decent wage. They don't want to take care of their employees with decent benefits. But this is when they step in, like, no, we're looking out for our employee who refuses to do his job because his alleged religion prevents him from being able to sell condoms to a married woman. Okay. So they released a statement saying, quote, our company policy allows team members to step away from completing a transaction to which they have a moral objection and refer the transaction to a fellow team member or manager who will complete the customer's request. But what happens if store's packed? There's no one else available to carry out the transaction. If there is a core element of that person's job that the individual is unable to carry out because of their faith, how does it make sense for that person to be employed doing that work? Now, I think this is very different from, let's say, I remember there was a story years ago, a case involving an employee at Abercrombie & Fitch, a woman who wears a headdress, worked there. And Abercrombie & Fitch had some sort of, not a uniform, but they had a dress code, and they demanded that she take her headdress off. Now, this woman wearing a headdress doesn't prevent her from doing her job. She's just wearing an item on her head that they don't like. But that doesn't in any way stop her or prevent her from doing the job she was hired to do. That actually made its way through the courts. The courts sided with her. She was able to continue wearing the headdress. But in this particular case, or in the case of a pharmacy refusing to dispense birth control to someone who has a prescription for it, they are refusing to do a core part of their job. So don't do that job, resign, find something else. And guess what? This isn't the only incident. There was a recent video posted by a TikToker by the name of Abigail Martin. And she had a very similar experience at a Walgreens, not with condoms, in this case with oral birth control. Let's hear what happened.
I don't want to be biased against any religion, but the lady that was helping me was older. She was one of the only people working there. They weren't busy. And she had 2 crosses, not one, but 2 crosses hanging around her neck. And when I told her what I was there for, my birth control, she looks me up and down and goes, like, excuse me? She then says, yeah, we're not gonna refill that prescription. You need to call your provider. And I said, you won't refill it or you can't refill it. And she goes, you just need to call your provider. So that's what I do. Then I get a message saying that it's delayed now, that I can get it, but now it's delayed. And then I get a message saying it's out of stock. What is it? So I call Walgreens again. The amazing lady who helped me this time was great. She said, I don't know why we haven't refilled this for you. You have 4 more refills left and your provider called approving it. I'm gonna refill this for you, but would you mind telling me who helped you last time? I was intrigued, so I told her and I said, could I ask why? She goes, I know exactly who you're talking about and we've been having this problem for the last 2 weeks. They've been having a problem with women not being able to get their birth control for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that Walgreens employee should be fired. I also think it's problematic that these major corporations like Walgreens and CVS are starting to become, the only pharmacies you can go to get your prescription drugs. A lot of these smaller pharmacies are just being destroyed by the monopolistic nature of these big chains like Walgreens and CVS. So there's no easy solution if we start dealing with this prevalence of Walgreens employees, or even Walmart, they have pharmacies as well. Like basically saying, no, I'm not gonna do my job. I'm gonna stand in between you and the healthcare you need. I'm gonna stand in between you and the medicine, the drugs, whatever it is that you need because religion. Let me tell you something about religion, okay? You should be able to practice your religion, but your religion should not cause harm onto others. That's the rule. You want to believe whatever you want to believe, right? You're a person of faith, awesome. Religious liberty is important because faith is a huge part of a lot of people's lives. But if you believe in a particular religious doctrine, go ahead and follow that religious doctrine and everything that it entails. Do it. More power to you. But what frustrates me beyond belief is that everyone else has to be either demonized, victimized, brutalized, whatever it is, based on whatever religious belief an individual has. My faith prevents me from just being a decent human being and selling you a box of condoms as a married woman. By the way, who knows what she needs a box of condoms for, right? Maybe she's trying to prevent pregnancy. Maybe her husband has some sort of illness or I don't know. But it's none of his business. If you can't do your job because your religious beliefs prevent you from doing your job, you should be fired. You need to find another line of work. Step down, resign, it's over. But we don't live in that world. We now live in a world where you have all of these zealots who are emboldened by what the Supreme Court has done in reversing Roe. And it's not just about the reversal of Roe. It's about Clarence Thomas's concurring opinion, where he of course agrees with the reversal of Roe. I mean, come on, why not? Okay, but he felt the need to write a separate opinion to target previous Supreme Court rulings that actually valued the privacy that married couples have in their sex lives, because he's a creep. These people are creeps. As Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas joined the majority in erasing abortion rights for half the country, he revisited his shopping list of other demonstrably erroneous precedents the court could tackle next. He included the 1965 Griswold v. Connecticut ruling that guaranteed married couples a right to privacy in their bedrooms. Including the right to buy contraception. That was what the case was about. But no, we can't have that. Clarence Thomas wants to know whether you and your partner are having protected sex. You can't be having protected sex. Clarence Thomas won't have it. Clarence Thomas sitting there in the Supreme Court thinking about whether or not people are engaging in oral or anal sex. Like the disgusting creep that he is, Mr. Pubic Hair on a Coke can, disgusting. These people are perverts. It is none of their business. Again, you're a person of faith, you have a problem with condoms, have at it. Do whatever you want to do. You don't get to dictate whether or not other people should have access to birth control, should have access to condoms, whether or not they use condoms, whether or not they engage in oral sex, whether or not they engage in sodomy. It doesn't matter. It's none of your business. I mean, it's hilarious that we pretend like we support and value liberty in this country when we have the most powerful people in government, including within our judicial system, talking about banning certain sexual acts in the bedroom. Again, none of your business, and why are you thinking about this? This country is a disgrace. It's a disgrace because the left has sat by, and I'm talking about elected lawmakers. They have just taken all of our freedoms for granted, things that people had fought for aggressively and had accomplished. We all took it for granted, we just did. And over the last 50 years, we've had religious zealots doing whatever it took to chip away at our liberties, chip away at our freedoms, chip away at our privacy, chip away at our civil liberties. And here we are. This is the culmination of that 50-year one-sided battle. And I say one-sided because one side sat by and thought, no, everything's great. Everything's gonna just keep moving toward progress. It didn't. Because whether we like it or not, we have people in this country who don't love our Constitution, they don't love freedom, they don't love the separation of church and state. They want to control everything you do in your personal life. That is what the abortion debate is about. It's always been about that. And that's what this is about. A weird, power-hungry boy named John who wants to tell a married woman that she can't use a condom when she has sex with her husband. It's disgusting. I'm not having it. We need to fight back aggressively against this garbage. And the fact that Walgreens stood up for that? What about your other employees? I hope you stand up for them when they decide they don't want to do their jobs, but they won't. I'm sure if they turn down a mandatory shift or some sort of, a mandatory overtime shift, if they turn that down, I'm sure they'll get fired for that. It's unbelievable.